Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel today. My name is Daryl and we are back outside working on the tower assembly project. Now the last time we were here, so you wonder, what could I be doing now? Well, as you know, I've made a couple of videos of me putting my tower together. We got the tower together, we got the rotor bracket all drilled for the rotor. We got the bracket drilled for the thrust bearing, and now we need a mast. So a friend of mine gave me a mast, and originally he said it was 20 feet, but it turned out to only be 16 feet. But I'm going to use it anyway. I put it in the tower. I mounted the rotor. I mounted the thrust bearing. I slid it into position, and I think it's going to be okay for me. I didn't lose about 1.5 feet. When it all comes down to it, I wanted 10 feet above the tower. I'm getting roughly 8.5 feet. So I'm losing, of course, 1.5 feet. My concern was just separation of the antennas. I'm going to put at least 3 antennas on that mast. Well, 3 antennas. And I wanted to make sure I have sufficient distance between each of the antennas. So I needed the spacing to be right. So I decided to just go for it and see where we end up. Hopefully maybe one day I have to remove that mast and put a bigger one up. I don't know. This thing's a monster. It's not light, but it is going to do the trick for me. It's pretty darn straight. There's one section at the end that's just slightly off, maybe about 1/16 of an inch off, but nothing you're going to notice from the ground, and it's not going to affect the antennas at all. But it's just, I think it was just like that from the manufacturing process. No one ran over or anything like this. So anyway, what we got to do today is we got to clean it up and we got to paint it. So I'm going to get out of my chair here and I'm going to head out to the shop and we will clean and paint this mast up and get it ready to go on my tower. So let's go. Here's the mast I'm going to use. And it's a 2-inch OD. And it looks like it might have been some sort of water pipe or something. It's fairly thick, so it's not going to bend. It's going to be pretty tough up there. I don't know what the thickness of that is, but it looks like it's maybe an 1/8 inch. So what we got to do today is we're going to take a brush to it and clean up all the surface rust and try to get any dirt or any crud off of it. And then I'm going to put some primer on there, and then I'm going to paint it. And it doesn't have to be great. I just want it to look good when I put it up there, and we'll see how long it lasts. But a lot of this, paint, you get Rust-Oleum and stuff like that. It's fairly decent outside. I think a lot of them now kind of work a little better with the rusty pipes and things like that. Things that are rusty, they work a little better. As long as you knock off anything that's loose, I think it'll be fine. So I'll show you the paint I'm going to use here. Let me walk over here and show you that. So this is what I'm using, automotive primer, and then I looked for a regular silver paint, but they didn't have it. So we'll see what this metallic paint looks like. And it says it stops rust. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it stops rust. So this is what I'm going to use to clean the rust off with. And then we'll put some primer on there, let it sit a little bit, and put the paint on there, and then that'll be ready to go. So let's get busy. I placed the mast on a couple of sawhorses, so it kind of brings it up to a level that's comfortable to work on. And then I cut up some 1/2-inch plywood, and I'm just going to slide these into place and kind of hold these in place with a few pin nails, and that'll stop the mast from moving around on me when I'm doing this. Let's see here. That should hold it. Let's put a couple more. Just for good measure. Okay, so now I can get that brush going here in this wire brush and see if this stuff comes off, or see how long it takes me to get it off. And hopefully it won't be a pain. But I looked down this thing, I looked down the very end of it down here to see how straight this thing was. And it's pretty much straight as an arrow. It's kind of hard to see with this, but it is pretty straight, so that's good. Yeah, 16 feet is not what I wanted. I wanted 20 feet because I wanted to make sure that I had a good 10 feet sticking out through the top, you know, at the top of the tower to mount antennas to. And I measured it out with only the 16 feet, and it comes like 8.5 feet above the tower. So we'll deal with that. I just wanted to make sure that I have enough spacing between my antennas. Let's pretend this is the very top, so here would be the vertical mounting, and then down a little ways would be the 2-meter Yagi, and then somewhere down here maybe an HF beam, or 6-meter, 10-meter beam, something, I don't know, we'll see. So I kind of figured 10 foot above would give me more than enough room to mount everything and give me the proper clearance between the antennas. Well, we're going to try it with 8.5 feet because this mast was given to me for free. So I'm going to try to use it and not have to buy anything. Why? Because I'm a ham, and hams are notoriously cheap, right? Except when it comes to things they really want, like new radios. Sometimes we buy new radios that are very expensive. And sometimes we buy radios that are used. And I have a lot of used stuff, and I have some new stuff. So this time, this whole tower project is probably going to be like 80% used. And then I have a couple of things that I bought new. So anyway, let's get the camera set up, and I'll start brushing this and see how well the muck comes off of it. It's not coming off too bad. And then what these little pieces of wood will let me do is just spin it, and then you know, just continue. So I'm not looking for a shiny surface. I'm just looking to try to get all this surface rust that it can be removed off. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of time into this because you know, over time the paint's probably going to chip off anyway. So we'll see what happens. So I'll try to get it cleaned up a little bit, and I'll just continue going along the whole way here, and spin it as I go, and you know, see what I get at the end. But so far, what I did is it's fairly nice. So I don't know how long this thing was sitting outside, but or what its previous life was. I'm sure it was some sort of water pipe or something. So anyway, let's keep going. Okay, I moved this whole project outside. I got this all cleaned off. Looks pretty decent. Then I made these little attachments to go on my sawhorses. So as I paint, maybe I can turn it. I don't know. We'll see. No matter what I do, I think I'm gonna paint up into this part here. That'll give me a way to turn it, just one side. And then at the very end, I'll just kind of, you know, spray around it and get that finished. So that's what we're gonna do. Looks pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. I gotta wipe it down with something first, so I'll probably wipe it down with a little denatured alcohol, kind of get the dust off of it. So I'll do that and I'll come back. Well, here's the first coat, maybe the last coat, I don't know. It looks pretty good. It's not all dry yet, but my little plan to turn it down here worked pretty well. So I'll let this dry, and I will go over any spots that I missed. And my finger got pretty tired. You can see at the end, I just decided to just keep my finger pushed on the button and try to finish it up. I'll get pretty fatigued there pushing that button. So I have one of those little triggers that you mount on the can in the shop, and I might get that out for the paint. If it'll fit on this, I don't know if it'll work with this kind of a nozzle on it or not. So we'll see, but that's what it looks like so far. So let me let this dry and put on any kind of second coat maybe. And I see I missed a spot right there. When it dries, you can kind of see it better. And then we'll paint this baby. I just was looking at this paint that I got. It's metallic, as you can see. It's going to be the prettiest mast out there. We'll see if I like it when it's done. I was just going to get regular gray. They didn't have it. They didn't have anything. This is the only thing they had. So this is what I'm going with. Coat number 1 is applied. So you can see in the sun, it's a little sparkly. There. Pretty nice. We'll see how well it holds up to the weather. I don't know what the right paint to put on this is. And by the time, you know, it gets rusty again, it'll be probably time for me to do something else to the tower and change out some antennas. So it looks pretty good so far. So let me let this dry, and I'll put a little bit of a second coat on there, as much as I can. I don't know, I don't remember how much I have left in the can. Probably about a quarter of a can left, so maybe I can give a light second coat. That's looking good so far. I'm excited, man. I'm happy to get this far. That tower's been sitting in the out there in the property for about almost a year maybe. And I'm really happy to get this thing going here. Well, I got the second coat on, and it's looking pretty good. And I didn't think I was going to like this at first, but it's looking pretty good. I don't know how tough it's going to be, but it looks good nonetheless. So I put 2 coats on it. So I guess my question to you guys is, what would you have done? How would you have cleaned this mast off? And what would you painted it with? What would you have painted it with? I don't know how long this will last. But right now it looks good. Well, we got the mast all cleaned up and painted today, and we're moving forward on this project. The next time you see me, I'll be doing a dry fit of all the components. I guess you call it a dry fit, a preliminary fit, I don't know. We'll put the rotor on there, we'll put the thrust bearing on there, we'll slide in the mast and get everything lined up on the mast. In the rotor itself, there's a bolt that needs to go, there's a couple of holes that need to be drilled in the mast and a bolt put through that mast. And then we got an antenna to put together and a vertical antenna to take down off my shop that's going to go at the top of the mast. So I got a little bit of work left to do. I got to put connectors on feed lines, get that done, run the feed line. I think I'm going to run the feed line before I put it up, like run it up to the antennas and where the antennas are going to be at, and then the climber can connect those to the antennas. But I want to get everything measured out and try to make as less work for him as possible. And that's about it, really. So we're getting real close. It's supposed to go up sometime next month, which is right around the corner, so I want to be ready for him when he calls me up and tells me it's time. So until next time, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, and we'll see you next time. Bye.